quick update on my end. It's been 7 months since my last video at this point, and I am working full-time at What If Autist. So I don't really have the time to work there and edit those videos and also do my own. It's just not feasible for me. I'm considering new styles of video, something closer to this, something more like a podcast with friends of mine, and discuss some current events and stuff, because the world is not in a good place right now, and I think that's very obvious to a lot of people, but I don't think that you have too many people who are level-headed discussing the matter. Everything's very clearly slipping into radicalism, and yet no one seems to be willing to do anything about that. It seems as if everybody's just going to continue to slide further towards one side or the other and demonize the opposition because their radical worldview is threatening to you as an individual. And so you'll just side with the radicals that are closer aligned to you because the other people are terrifying. This is not anything new to humanity. I'm sure when Rome was falling, there were plenty of Roman citizens who were happy that the barbarians had come. So it's difficult to watch everything go the way that it is, knowing that we're going to hit a world crisis within the next couple years, and that a lot of people are going to suffer and die, and that, my country in America is going to have to make some really big changes if it wants to make it as a country, never mind maintain its status as the global superpower. So things are tense, and there's a lot to potentially discuss. I think it's plenty of food for thought for myself and for the people who watch this channel and the people who watch, I'm sure a variety of other channels that kind of touch on these topics. So we'll see how things play out on my end on this channel, and how things play out in the world around us, and how we plan on going forward. I don't have a massive following right now, and I don't imagine I ever will. But for those of you who are still interested in the content that I make, I am just going to give you the heads up that there does have to be a shift in the way that I do things because of my schedule change. I also see a lot of people complaining or noting that there's not enough Germany on the channel. I'm already pushing the envelope with the imperial flag that I have. Unfortunately, a lot of imperial symbols are co-opted by anti-Semitic nutbags, and I'm not willing to push YouTube. I don't trust that they're going in a good direction. They're getting very stringent with their regulations on content that is very good, and I'm not a big enough channel where if they wipe me off the map, anybody will notice or make enough of a stink. But it's sad that we live in a world where, I have to kind of think about these things. This is a conversation I frequently have with Rudyard about what kind of content could get banned on YouTube. Because we live in a world where A, people are going to say awful things, and B, corporations and governments feel like they have the right and the moral imperative to censor that kind of stuff. And it bothers me greatly that people agree with that. That people really think that it is in the best interest of large organizations to censor what people do and don't say for the sake of, I don't know, making a better society, I guess. And it just feels like there's no winning. It's difficult because, of course, I have these conversations with my friends and with Rudyard, and everybody's getting ready to fall into a camp. We're picking sides. And that's bad, to say the least. It wasn't like this 10, 15 years ago. Nobody thought that, you could be a Republican and not like Bush, and it wasn't the end of the world, right? And somebody else would come along and we'd move on. And each election that goes by, it doesn't feel like we can just move along. Every issue is a moral issue. Every issue is the fate of the world. And it's tense, and I sit on YouTube and I'm watching stuff about the economy and about South Asia and about, our society, and it's horrifying to know that we are going down a very difficult road, and it doesn't look like things are going to get better, at least not in the short term. But that's not going to stop us from continuing to move forward. I believe that humanity will pull itself together. It might be from the ashes, but we'll figure our shit out and move on. It's just a matter of how many people die, how many governments collapse, how many people go unfed before we get our shit together. And who knows? But I want to keep track of these things. I want to keep people informed, and I want to make content in some format to show people that there are people with brain cells left, people who don't feel like it's necessary to jump into a camp, because I'm not one of those people. I don't like what either side is doing for a variety of reasons that I can get into in a future video. And it sucks that we live in a world where moderation is more and more being viewed as weakness. If you can't take a moral stand on abortion and be on somebody's side with that one, it's because, you're part of the problem for either side. And I don't believe that that's true. I don't feel like you need to die on every hill you come across. And I would prefer it if cooler heads could prevail. And the only way we're going to do that is by banding together and by saying, look, there's enough of us here that aren't going to die on this hill that maybe other people will look and say, all right, well, maybe things aren't quite as desperate as I've made them out to be. And don't get me wrong, things are desperate. Things are very, very desperate right now. But just because things are desperate doesn't mean that you should freak out. Because we still need to figure this out. And it becomes a lot harder to figure this out when everyone's like, well, if you disagree, then you should be shot in the back of the head. And frankly, I'm willing to sacrifice my civil liberties to make sure that the people who I think are a moral threat are taken care of in whatever fashion the powers that be see fit. That's insanity. And I cannot imagine living in a world where everybody thinks that that's okay. So, regardless of what happens, I want to have this channel open to lend a critical view to the world at large, to the many sides of the political spectrum, to review events as they come up. I don't know exactly what format that's going to happen in, but I will not be making videos in the format that I was making them for a variety of reasons. But yeah, so stay tuned. We'll figure this out. Comment. Let me know what you think the direction should be going forward. I'm more than interested to hear it. Let other people know. And we'll figure out how best to do this going forward.